Hey, ladies and gentlemen, happy Saturday. Today we got the Pocket Change Market Report, this time for February 13th, 2021. What kind of hot coins have been selling on the secondary market? And again, all right, just to reiterate, these are coins that people have found and located going through coin roll hunting, or maybe perhaps they've cherry picked these coins from a coin dealer or a coin shop. You just never know where these coins come from. So what is the Pocket Change Market Report all about? Okay, so these are varieties and errors that have sold on eBay within the last, I would say, 2 days, 24 to 48 hours. And simply put, if you could find it and you don't need to grade it, these are all raw coins, ungraded. You could save yourself money by not sending these out to a PCGS or NGC. You just go ahead, take good pictures, throw them on eBay, for a 7-day listing or buy it now, and then bam, maybe you get yourself a nice sale as a result. Usually with a Pocket Change Market Report, this is better custom tailored for coins that are of lower value. Okay, there are some undisputed kings in the error and variety world that I would say, yes, you would definitely need to grade those coins. However, we have a nice little pick of the litter of some really good examples of coins that you should, under any circumstances, not have to grade. You'd be saving yourself a lot of money and time as a result. So the market still hot, still going. A lot of coins out there, a lot of minor coins that people are picking up to add to their collection. And it's all reflective on everything that we've seen thus far. So we're going to start it off with a 1979D Lincoln Memorial cent. This one is what it kind of looks, and I'm going to use the saying from one of my other counterparts on Live Coin Q&A. This looks like a parking lot coin, a coin that was like beat up, scraped up, probably been ran over a few dozen times. But this one right here, this is a nice curved rim clip. All right, I've talked about these before on all the previous Pocket Change Market Report videos. These coins are being targeted. Okay, and these are coins at one time, in a probably not so distant past, I would say in the last 12 months, these have gotten their due. These are coins that a long time ago you could pick up for, a quarter or 50 cents. However, they're starting to make some strides on the secondary market for the folks that can't quite buy up some of the more pricier errors. So this one right here sold for $8.50. I said that twice. That was weird. I wanted to also let you know that the shipping fees are encapsulated with the final prices that I'm giving you guys. So it costs maybe $2 or $3 to ship, and then I'll give you a better idea of what the actual real market value of these coins will be. All right, so the next one that we have here is a type of currency hunting that I encourage quite a bit. And I've talked about this even in some of my earliest videos from a long time ago, and that's going to be fancy serial number hunting. If you don't know what a fancy serial number is, it's a set of serial numbers where they're very desired. Like the note that you see here is what they call a binary. So you have two numbers represented across a serial number set. So you have zeros and eights. There's also 1 through 8 ladders. There's 8 in a row. So it's all of the same digit. It's those type of notes that people collect. And of course, grade plays a pretty big part in the valuation of such notes as well. So it's kind of like a two-way street when it comes to ownership of these type of instruments. But this one right here, what's cool about it is you have a nice binary 0 and 8s. Plus, it's also a star note, which is a replacement. And finding, a really nice serial number string and a star, you put them both together, and it's a note that's very valuable. People want these. Plus, it certainly helps that the note is in really nice shape as well. This one right here is sold for $104.33. So make sure you take a close look at all of the serial numbers. I know some people don't like to touch money with the whole COVID thing right now, and that's understandable, but there's still quite a few people searching through straps of dollars, fives, tens, 20s, you name it. Definitely keep an eye out for those type of notes because they are worth quite a bit of money. All right, so we have a couple notes that are highly questionable. Okay, the first one right here was sold as an error, and I could tell you this right now. It sold for a tremendous amount of money as a traditional auction format, number one. So there's a lot of people that didn't quite see this one coming. In addition, this note right here is a fake error. And I'm going to tell you why here in a moment. All right, so this one right here is a 2006 $1 Federal Reserve note, and the person selling it doesn't even know what kind of anomaly error this could be. But the way that this note is set up, and it's clearly evident by the way it was described on the listing. But sorry, my dog's barking in the background. But this note right here is supposed to look like a wet ink transfer or an offset. Okay, it's supposed to look like a back to front offset error. But the problem is that this offset wet ink transfer part of it is supposed to be mirrored. So this pyramid looking thing should be on this side and then vice versa. Everything is supposed to be backwards. So that is the one thing that I noticed right off the bat, like, oh man, this is a poor attempt at trying to make a desirable error out of this note. Plus, I don't even know what the heck these lines are in the back of Washington's profile on this note. So, yeah, this one automatically, screamed just pure straight up fake. But unfortunately, there were a number of bidders that bid this one up to $212. So I'm hoping that this one goes back. It's unfortunate that these type of notes exist, but I hate to say it, this is not the only note. This is the same note, by the way, nothing occurring on the back. But here's another one that was also sold by that same seller. It's supposed to look like a double print, and yes, you'll probably go blind looking at it for too long. But based off of the previous note, plus he has a few other notes, wet ink transfers, and other things that he was selling as well as regular auctions. This one is even more egregious, given the fact that the previous note is not a legitimate error. I would happen to think that this one is probably not an error too, only because that the credibility is lost. The moment I saw the other listing, and then there were a few other wet ink transfer listings as well. And these are all notes in hindsight that has to be graded. All right, like this note right here should have been in a graded slab a long time ago, but there's a reason why it's not. Okay, and to make matters worse, this one right here sold for $1,003, which is just dumb. It's a dumb amount of money for something that is uncertified, ungraded. And doubled print notes do exist, and they are quite rare and quite valuable. So for this one to just all of a sudden miraculously show up ungraded, knowing full well that some of his other error notes were fake, it's just, I just don't believe this listing, which is unfortunate because you want people to find stuff like this. There's the back of the note. It's normal. Now, getting back to the real deal stuff, we have a 1993 Lincoln Memorial cent that has a nice cut die break here at the base of the Lincoln bust. Always a good one to find. Now, they're tougher to find on the newer dated coins, especially the copper-coated zincs. You don't see a lot of cuts on these particular dates, but they do show up on occasion. There's a few 1980s dates where you could find a nice die break cut. This one right here sold for $24. Not too bad. So definitely keep an eye out for things that look like this. All right, so the pictures are not great, but what we have here is the 1972 Lincoln Memorial cent. Of course, this is the one date that you obviously need to search regardless. It doesn't matter what condition it's in. There's a good dozen or so doubled dies that are very notable. Most of them are in the Cherry Picker's Guide. This one right here is the FS 108. So it's a doubled die number 8 for a 1972 Philadelphia coin. Yeah, these pictures are not very good. First of all, they were taken in a 2x2 holder, and yeah, the focus is just all off, and yeah, too much going on with the lighting here on this one. Now, here's what the 108 looks like upon closer examination. It's always a good idea to have a nice magnifier when you're searching through things like this. Otherwise, you'll miss it. This is not a doubled die that's easy to see with a naked eye. But you're going to have strong doubling in the motto, "In God We Trust." You're going to see it on the date, as you can see here. And then Liberty is quite strong on this as well. This particular coin, very nice mint state red, sold for $99.95. So very desirable, especially in the higher grades. People will pay up for these type of coins. Now, I would say that one of the biggest resources that you guys can go through, because not many people do, is going to be your scrap silver. Okay, for all you hoarders of like 90% silver and things of that sort. Believe it or not, there are a lot of opportunities to find some pretty cool errors and varieties within those coins. Case in point, we have a 1956 Philadelphia Washington quarter. This is a 90%er. Kind of one of those overproduced ho-hum type dates. Not really special on its face, other than the fact that it is 90% silver, but we do have a little die chip here in the 5, and that was the main selling feature of this coin when it was listed. This coin here sold for $12, which is about 2.5 times what melt value is for a coin of this caliber. So if you do find them, why not make a few extra bucks and sell it with the error on there? All right, so here's another coin proving once again that people will buy just about anything. This is a 1955D. Now, this does have a legitimate anomaly that we are going to take a look at here momentarily, but you just can't help but see this big old, so the coin is damaged. Let's go ahead and put it that way. I was trying to find a clever saying or something like that to describe this, but yeah, it looks like it got shot, with a BB, and there you go. It's got a nice round depression in there. But it is also a die chip BIE cent. All right, and people do collect this. Normally, these things are plentiful enough that you could find them on a relatively nicer condition coin. However, this one is far from that, but someone did pay $4.98 for this coin. And it's a 55D, which is one of the more common dates for BIE anomalies. So, definitely take that into consideration when you're shopping and you're trying to build your position of BIE coins that, always go for the better quality. Someone really needed this coin bad enough. All right, so the next 3 coins, we have a couple really nice circulated off-center coins. I don't know how these get off being circulated in the first place, but apparently they made their rounds in the world of commerce. So we got a nice 1970D Lincoln Memorial cent. This one is struck off-center by about 70%. It's got a nice patina to it. You can see the circulation wear on there. It's got a full date and mint mark. All right, you remember that good old saying I used to say is that if you're able to see a full date and mint mark on these off-center coins, especially one that's offset by this much, they are worth a lot more to collectors. All right, so this one right here sold for $23.75. Best offers were accepted on all 3 coins that you're going to see. So this is the first one. The next one, we have another nice one, 1972D. Again, this one's circulated quite a bit. It's strange to me because this thing is so out of the ordinary that I would say if you were not in coin collecting, that you would easily identify this as something very strange. So the fact that it's passed through many hands and been inside many cash registers, again, it's just strange to me. This one right here is off center by about 55%, and this one also sold for $23.75. And then the final one from the same seller is going to be a 71D. Just another really, really pleasing coin here. This one is off center by about 55% as well. Same as the previous coin. And this one sold for $28.75. It got a little bit of an extra value kicker, I would say, because the condition is just a little bit nicer on this one. All right, so if you were going to pick any specific date of Buffalo Nickel to cherry pick, and keep in mind, there are coin dealers that have just pounds of these things, and usually they'll have a little container for you to search through. Pick any one, it's 50 cents or whatever. Make sure you have your magnifier in hand when you're sorting and going through and cherry picking Buffalo Nickels, because it is a bounty to behold. There are a lot of different varieties, doubled dies, repunched mint marks, you name it. You can even try and go for like the 5-legged buffalo or the 3-legger on like the 37D, whatever your, whatever floats your boat, I guess. But this is a 36S, all right, and this is one date where you can find a ton of repunched mint marks. There is one cherry picker's guide type, and that's this one right here. I love looking for these. I've found my fair share of them. I probably have nearly a full roll of the FS 501, which is what you see here. So you have the secondary S is struck or punched south of the primary mint mark, so you can easily see this this bottom curl hanging out down here. That's the other S that the mint employee had tapped in on the die, and yeah, sure enough, he hit it twice. He wasn't completely sure of himself at that time, but this one right here, to give you an idea of how desirable, it is a nicer grade, probably like a VF 35, XF 40. This one right here is sold for $34.40. For a coin that was probably purchased for around $1 to $2. That's not too bad of a return. All right, so this is going to be our focus coin of the video. And the reason why is 2018 Lincoln Shield cents are still very available. The coin, I can't believe I'm saying it, is already 3 years old. But if you were going to go out there and search through pennies, all right, most of your 2018s are going to be in really nice shape. As a matter of fact, you might even find a good portion of mid-state examples still floating around out there. This one, however, is going to be a coin that I'm going to say should be on top of your list as you're going through your shield cents. Of course, circulation is flooded with all of these type of coins. This one right here is the doubled die obverse number 1. This is a tremendous coin. I want to own one of these someday, but the prices are starting to shoot upwards. You could just see the stretching of the numbers and the date. You can see the stretching here on the 1, the 8. It's got the big old fat bottom. I was going to say bottom lip right here of this 8, and then the 2 is certainly stretched. Liberty is particularly radical on this. You can see just the stretching of the final 3 letters of Liberty. This is just an amazing coin to own. It's a great representation of what a Class 9 is for these single squeeze press minted coins. This particular example sold for $81. These things are money. People, at the time of release of a 2018 Lincoln, people were finding, full rolls of these things. And then now all of a sudden, demand is starting to catch up with supply. And then as a result, we're seeing some pretty crazy prices on 2018 DDO number 1s. $81. I mean, yeah, go for it. Make sure you're still looking for this coin. It's very, very hot right now. Okay, so we have a 2019 West Point. This is the American Memorial Park National Park Quarter. This one has a funky anomaly on the obverse, which I guess could best be described as a strike through. I don't know if it's a hardened piece of grease with, some debris in it. to cause that perfect kind of like oval, shape to the thing. But as we all know, the West Point minted quarters have been played with various quality control issues, strike-throughs, that sort of thing. This is just another example of that. This one here sold for $52. Wow. Yeah, the prices are still strong for these errors from the West Point Mint. All right, here's another well-loved, well-circulated curved clip error, this time on a 1980 Lincoln Memorial. This one right here, obviously you can see it there. You have a little bit of flattening, the Blakesley effect, and you'll see that on the opposite side of the coin from where the clip is. But again, nothing fancy, but someone needed this bad enough that they paid $8.50 in spite of its condition. Another 1980. This one here is a coin that is struck off center by about 60%. Pretty neat. You have a full date. What I don't like is that big gnarly carbon spot on the obverse of the coin. That's kind of a detractor to most people. But this is a coin that sold for $23.75. I believe it's the same seller as the previous 3 off-center coins in this video. All right, so here's going to be a legitimate wet ink transfer note. This is a 1993 rather, $1 Federal Reserve note. The front of the note just looks pretty normal, but all the action is going to be on the back. But as you can see, this is a front to back wet ink transfer. All the devices of the transfer of the obverse design or the front of the design to the back is mirrored. I mean, take a look at Washington's portrait. See where he's facing? All right. It's supposed to be mirrored and opposite from each other. So that's what you want to see for the wet ink transfers. This one right here, no doubt about it, is 100% genuine. This particular note sold for $165, which is the correct kind of money for a full wet ink transfer. All right. The partials will sell for a little bit less. All right, people are still hung up on trying to find 1970s small date Lincoln cents. Now, here's a really great example. You could probably use this one as kind of a guide. Again, there's a few key points to look for on these type of coins to know that if you have a legitimate, small date. Sometimes for people, it's kind of hard to determine. But on these coins, you're going to see a weakness in the word liberty that you see here. So the strike's a little bit weaker. But if you look at the date, all right, see the inner curl of the 9? So this one has what they call the tighter curl, and then the tip of the curl will actually point to the 7. All right, that's going to be your first kind of like diagnostical feature that lets you know that you probably have a small date. On the large dates, the curl that comes around here on the 9 will actually point downwards, like so. So this one right here is pointed tight and pointing to the right. Right toward the 7 and 0, whereas on the large date, again, that curl tip is actually pointing to the mint mark. Really easy to spot with the naked eye, especially when you could take into consideration those 2 particular diagnostics that I love to use to attribute this. This one sold for $30.66. Still a little bit of a market out there. These things have waned in price recently for no particular reason other than, it doesn't appeal to a lot more people than it should. All right, so if you wanted to take advantage of a nice cherry pick, and, even though the condition of this coin is bad, I mean, this is an 1864 2-cent piece that was probably a dealer stock at one point, probably was a coin that was sold for, $5 to $8. I mean, when a coin like this, even though it is over 150 years old and it's a problem coin, dealers don't really want to hold on to these. So they'll do whatever to just make sure they go away. These are actually coins that in the past I could probably get for free through a few dealers along with the purchase of a few others. But this right here, what makes this one particularly interesting and a great cherry pick are these rim cuts right over here, very thin rim cuts on the reverse of the coin, and I think that was the main kind of like sell point on this one, and that's what the seller did use to promote this coin. This one right here sold for $43.29. So because of the extra care into finding those little cuts on this coin, the seller made quite a bit more money off of it. So well done. All right, just another Lincoln cent error this time. This is a full Brockage Lincoln. Of course, there's no date on this one. This is just a really nice, pleasing example of a Brockage. It's a pre-83. This one is copper. All right, even though we can't read the date. This one right here sold for a best offer of $65. So it sold somewhere south of that, probably $50 or somewhere around there. Pretty cool coin. Here's another one. It's a dateless. We know it's a 19 something. This is a Lincoln wheat cent. It's about 30% off center. It's a pleasing coin. Very nice high grade example. For what it is, probably an AU50, AU53-ish. This one sold for $29.30. If it had a full date, it'd probably sell for double that. So that just shows you the importance of a full date on a off-center struck coin. All right, so there are a couple of these kind of, round out the PCMR report. But here's a 1970s Lincoln Memorial cent with some apparent strike through on the obverse. Part of the motto is missing. You got weakness and liberty. And it's almost missing the complete last digit of the date. So, it's probably struck through grease. Pretty cool example when you come across it. Sold for $7.24. That's a pretty good return off of something that to a lot of people is nothing, To you, it's something. Oh, pretty cool. 2020D. This is a Denver minted Salt River Bay National Park quarter. Still pretty new, in my estimation, but this one exhibits a partial tilted collar. Very cool coin. It's got the extra thick, fat rim, so the collar wasn't completely seated up to the coin when this thing was struck. You can even see, and this is kind of like the best vantage point of this coin. You can actually see the railroaded edge here with the partial reading. Just very cool. And it's cool to see on a brand new coin, especially at Denver, where mint errors are few and far between. But this one didn't exactly sell for a song. It was able to fetch $19, which is a pretty good amount of money for a brand new quarter right out of circulation. Okay, so this one is a lot deeper strike through on the obverse. This Lincoln Memorial cent is missing a lot of the words on the obverse of the coin. It's a 1990 something. I believe this is a copper coated Zinken, and this one right here sold for $10. Heck yes, very nice. And we have a couple really nice coins to end the video on. We have a 1982 large date Lincoln Memorial that is off center by about 65%, somewhere around there. My favorite out of the off centers in this list because of its condition. This thing is a really nice bright red mid state example. Sold for $36.30. And then finally, the last coin of the group is going to be a 1987 double struck Lincoln Memorial. Okay, so the secondary strike is roughly 65% off center on this one. Just a stunning example, ladies and gentlemen. The likelihood that you'll ever find this in a coin roll is probably nil. It's just something that probably you would find in a mint bag. Usually some of the more incredible types of errors are found in there, but this is just a really, really cool coin. This one here, I felt like sold for a lot less than its potential, $58.55. I look at this, I'm like, oh, that's a $100 coin all day long. But someone did get a little bit of a deal on it. So anyways, wow. That's a good coin to end it off on. I actually looked on further down the line on eBay. I'm like, man, there's a whole bunch more coins I could have added to the list. But I only have so much of because I try and keep it relegated to a sheet of paper worth of content to talk about. And I could have easily done like 2 pages of sold listings, and that's going to be just from the, I would say, the last 3 days. That's how busy and robust the coin market is right now, even for lower grade, lower desired or interest factor type errors and varieties like you've seen in today's video. But there is a market for a lot of this stuff, and then when you utilize that, you could you make $10 here, $5 here, it all adds up. And take it from someone that does it pretty regularly. And when I go and buy and sell and do all this stuff, some of these lower $5, $10, $20 coins, kind of make the difference between buying a coin that you could add to your personal collection that's $100 or one that's $500. Just the overall upgrade in quality from a $100 coin to 500 is tremendous. Okay, so I see it as that when because people ask, well, why do you sell all your errors and varieties? I'm like, if I have a bunch of them and they're minor enough, I'll just go ahead and sell them, accumulate the money, and then go ahead and buy something big. And that's how you do it in the business, especially if you're a personal or armchair type collector that just likes to go through coins. That's what a lot of people do. All right, they'll coin roll hunt as kind of like their side hustle. They'll sell all these coins and then they'll buy something tremendous. I see it all the time in the hobby, and it's a lot of fun. It's a great way to enhance your collection. But enough about that. Let's go ahead and end it off. Thank you guys for joining in on this one. Hopefully it got your collected blood boiling today for your Saturday, Sunday. Wish you guys the best of luck in all of your hunting endeavors. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that bell for instant notifications. Go ahead and check out my new merchandise. We got the new certified Coinaholic shirts and all that great stuff. It's awesome. I bought a few shirts for myself. You're going to see it in full display on my future videos. But yeah, good stuff. Aside from that, you guys take care. Coinaholics, we're discovering together. And I will catch you on the next video. Best of luck in all of your hunting.